You ever wonder why the loudest people lose? Why the guy who screams for attention always gets ignored, but the one who says nothing gets followed, feared, and respected? Maybe you've been too kind, too open, too honest, and people took advantage of that. You gave loyalty and got betrayal. You gave love and got silence. You think the world is broken, but it's not. It just doesn't reward emotions. It rewards strategy. Today you're going to learn from a man who understood that better than anyone in history. A man who didn't fight wars, he created them. His name was Chanakya, and he was the most dangerous mind ancient India ever produced. Who was Chanakya? Chanakya wasn't a king. He had no army, no wealth, no crown. He was a teacher, a thinker, a ghost in the background. But behind that silence was a plan that would collapse dynasties. He wrote the Artha Shastra, a political and psychological blueprint still studied today. It taught manipulation. It taught fear. It taught how to control minds, not armies. The book covers everything. How to start wars, control women, spread rumors, crush rivals, fake loyalty, and even when to kill. And here's the wild part. Chanakya did all of it, and no one saw it coming. His dark psychological tactics. Let's break down the 5 core tactics Chanakya used to crush kings and control people. 1. Divide their loyalties. Chanakya never attacked from the front. He made kingdoms collapse from the inside. He planted seeds of doubt between ministers, generals, even royal family members. Loyalty is strong until ego gets involved. He spread rumors. He funded betrayals. He whispered poison in ears. When the king looked around, his greatest enemy was sitting right beside him. 2. Weaponize weaknesses. He studied every king's flaw. The greedy king, he'd bribe his men. The lustful king, he'd send dancers and spies. The paranoid king, he'd flood him with fake threats. He didn't attack strength. He made men destroy themselves by indulging their own vices. Let's break down how Chanakya used seduction to break a king. One of Chanakya's coldest strategies involved no warriors, no blood, only a woman and a plan. When he wanted to destroy the king of Kasi, he didn't send an army. He sent a beautiful woman trained in dance, intelligence, and manipulation. But she wasn't there to kill. She was there to get close, to learn his habits, to feed his ego, to seduce the king so deeply. He started ignoring his counsel. While the kingdom rotted from inside, the king thought he was in love. By the time he realized he'd been played, his generals had switched sides. His enemies were already inside his gates. Chanakya used seduction not for pleasure, but for destruction. He didn't need to touch the throne. He made the king willingly hand it over, while thinking he was in control. 3. Use disguise and deception. Chanakya believed in masks. He'd disguise warriors as monks, servants as assassins, women as informants. Why? Because the moment your enemy sees you coming, you've already lost the element of fear. 4th, master observation. Chanakya would enter enemy cities without a weapon. Just eyes, just silence, just study. He watched how the soldiers walked, who hesitated in front of the king, what door stayed locked. He collected weaknesses like currency. Then, when the time was right, he spent them, and kingdoms collapsed. 5. Delay is strategy. Chanakya wasn't in a rush. Sometimes he waited years. He knew that time exposes every crack. While others acted emotionally, he stayed in the shadows, gathering, calculating, staying 5 moves ahead. The enemy celebrated, while Chanakya pulled the strings behind their downfall. The empire he built with nothing but his brain. Chanakya found a young boy, Chandragupta, and made him a king. He dismantled the powerful Nanda dynasty without a single royal bloodline backing him. It was the equivalent of a professor today, taking down the government and installing a student as president. Chanakya didn't want fame. He didn't want gold. He wanted control. And he got it. Quietly, permanently. Call to action. You don't need to be loud to be powerful. You don't need muscles to be feared. You need silence. You need strategy. You need the mindset of a man who doesn't react. He calculates. Chanakya didn't win with force. He won with clarity, patience, and ruthless control. The world doesn't reward feelings. It rewards those who study, adapt, and never get emotional. Subscribe if you're done playing checkers. It's time to learn chess from a ghost named Chanakya.